Hi, I'm Ed Amoroso from Tag Cyber, and I'm here with a friend of mine, it's Meg Grant, who runs marketing, the SVP of Marketing at Digital Defense. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
I asked you to come and sit with me because I've known you a long time, and you know a lot about marketing and about essentially I don't want to call it the softer side, but more the communication side of both cybersecurity and tech and a lot of different businesses.
Right.
And we have a lot of people who watch our videos who do that sort of thing, especially younger people.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be awesome to get some advice from you for them
Great.
on what you do.
I'm
But
happy
first,
to.
real briefly, tell
Okay.
us what you do at the company, and then we can get into some of the tips that I know you have.
Okay, so I manage the marketing from everywhere from public relations to digital marketing to analyst relations. So there are a lot of different functions of the marketing spectrum that fall under our department.
You check herding cats? Is
Yeah,
that what you check?
Stuffing envelopes if necessary.
Now, I was wondering if you had one or two or three tips
Sure.
for people who are doing this, because I think there's a lot of people watching who are in the business and would like some advice. What would you tell them if you were sitting having a drink and offering some heartfelt advice?
Yeah, and sometimes I do that.
I'll
And
bet you do.
yeah, I don't know, not sure like my kids who are in the field, you know, whether or not they love my advice, but this is what I would say. I see so many smart people coming into the field, and it's really exciting.
Yeah.
And I have loved the way that marketing has evolved, but there's some basic, I think, principles, things that have stayed tried and true in marketing for years that I would give some advice on. The first one is I would make sure you don't have to be a deep subject matter in each of the different marketing mediums and channels that are available now, but make sure you have a good understanding of all of those different channels. We have so many more now with, things like social media platforms and digital display advertising and Google AdWords. But yet you have to make all of those channels work together and have consistency of message. So really knowing what your subject expert in digital marketing and your PR individual are doing is critical, because you want to make sure that there's no conflict and that everything is working and humming together like a machine.
In those channels, some of them you can control directly. Like if you're going to put an ad out, you can be 100% control the message, the picture, the words. But when you do others, it's not so much.
That's
like
true.
with analysts, you're not really sure what they're going to say. How do you manage that? Or do you just do the best you can?
We do the best we can. We try to, put our communications in a clear, understandable fashion to really understand where we stand out from our competition. So that's another thing. You really need to understand the whole landscape for yourself and your competitors that are in your field, so you can clearly communicate that.
Yeah. Is social media more difficult than some of the other ones?
I think it is. Some people do a really great job in that medium, but I think we've had to rely on some outside sources to help us with that, to help us navigate, because, and again, on social media, I would say, it's the same principle. Make sure that the messaging that you're doing is something that's of value, that you're just not, throwing something out there that everybody else knows about. You really have to add some value to what you're saying.
Because you just don't know who you're dealing with there. You have these weird collisions with named individuals that may not even be real.
Exactly. Yes.
It's such an unusual medium, but powerful. Because you reach so many people that way.
Yep.
So number one, you're saying understand all these different channels.
Yes.
What's the second one?
The second one I would say is, depending on the industry that you're in, kind of the same principle. You don't have to be a deep subject matter expert, but really try to get in and understand your products, understand talking to your consumers. I always say it's good to talk to your clients, but also to the people that aren't your clients, to understand what they're liking in your competitors' offerings. But that will help you frame a message a little bit better that gets to the pain points. Being in cybersecurity and technology, we love it to talk about our cool technologies and what they do, and that's all important. But at the end of the day, we have to boil down, what is it that we are going to do for someone and how is it going to benefit them?
This means taking the time to actually
It does.
study and learn and research.
It does.
So that's not a, wow, I'll do that in 1
It's
minute.
not.
That takes some time.
It's not.
Yeah. In cybersecurity, the challenge is it's such a changing and dynamic field
Yeah.
that you probably never get to where you say, okay, now I got it.
You don't.
Which is good and bad for people
Right.
who love to constantly do that. Yeah, that's
Right.
great. But I'm going to guess that for someone who doesn't like that, cybersecurity is probably not the place to
Probably
work,
not.
right?
Probably not.
Better
There'll
go do
probably be
something else.
a lot of cross-functional team collaboration because you're going to be depending on all your peers, your subject matter experts. You know, many times we have to vet our communications through the technical experts to make sure that we're not saying something that's inaccurate. So while you have that message, the benefit of what it is we're solving, the problem, we also need to make sure that we're, you know, totally accurate in what we say. And so that it's a little deeper than some other industries, but there are, you know, same issue. And if you're in compliance or insurance, other fields, it'll be the same thing as well.
Any others? Is there a third that you would offer to people getting
This
into
is my
field?
big one. I just really cannot stress enough the importance of having good written and oral communication
Yeah,
skills.
yeah.
I mean, that is still a basic for people in marketing and communications. So while we have these mediums and articles that, you know, online aren't nearly as long now, or your social media posts, like you're saying, you really have to be able to express yourself in an appropriate manner and also have good written skills and be able to talk to people and listen too, to be able to
Are
listen.
cybersecurity nerds like me a little harder to communicate with sometimes?
No, but it goes to understanding your audience,
That's a good
which
point.
is a key
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
with marketing. You're not going to have one message that's going to appeal to everybody. So really in the cybersecurity field, we talk in very different voices in terms to the say the very technical people versus even like the CEO or the you know, chief marketing officer.
Yeah.
Now cybersecurity is going to be very important to marketing folks as well. As well as when you're going into industries, you have to change that tone and voice a bit depending on who
That's a
you're
fair
speaking
point.
with.
You know what I've noticed, because I've spent my whole life in business, when you're dealing in some industries, the small talk is really small talk. It could be golf, it could be baseball, it could be business, it could be politics.
That's true.
In tech, the small talk is tech,
It's true.
right?
That's very true.
When we relax,
Yep.
we don't relax to talk about Tiger Woods.
No,
we
you're
relax
right.
to talk more about the tech.
You're absolutely right.
And for a lot of people, it's a little odd. Sometimes they
Uh-huh.
see marketing and salespeople come from other
Yeah.
industries,
Yeah.
and it takes them a while to think, wow, these people really like what they do.
Right.
Like they don't have to be talking work now,
Exactly.
but they're talking work.
Yeah.
It's because that's
Yeah, it's
the
part of their
nature.
DNA. It
Right.
really is.
And if you don't get that, we look weird, but it's not weird to us.
Right.
And you get it. I know you do. That's
Thank
why
you. I
you're in
enjoy
the
it.
chair.
It's
You're
been
very
it's
good
been
at it.
great, and I've really enjoyed.
So is this the beginning of a career as a marketing coach for you? There
Oh
we
wow!
go.
I hadn't thought about that.
Maybe
but
at some point.
that
I'm,
would be nice.
I'm sure you have a great team. I'm sure they love working
I
for
have
you.
the best team. I mean, they really make my life easy for me, and so, you know, I give all the credit to them because they really, you know, help my day-to-day, you know, activities I'm able to go through, and we sit together and do strategy along with the whole team at Digital Defense, and then they're the ones helping me execute it every single day.
Well, keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for sharing.
Well, thank you for having me. It has
Yeah.
been a pleasure to be here.
It was wonderful to
Thank
see you
you,
again.
Ed. You too.
Great. And we'll see you next time.